Hello and welcome to this video in which we shall continue discussing the summative review. So in question 31, we are required to find the intervals where the function is increasing and decreasing. So the first thing we do is we have to get the stationary points of the function. So y equals negative x squared over 2 plus x plus 3 over 2. And then y dash becomes negative 2x over 2 plus 1, which is the same as negative x plus 1. And we set this equal to 0. So negative x plus 1 equals 0. Take the x to the other side. So 1 equals to x, or x equals to 1. Now that we know the x coordinate of the turning point, we create three intervals: x equals to 1, x less than 1, and x greater than 1. Now for each of these intervals, we need to evaluate the sign of y dash. So when y dash is equal to negative x plus 1, so let's take any value of x that is smaller than 1. So let's take, for example, x equals to 0. And then let's take anything that is bigger than 1. So let's take x equals to 2. So for x equals to 0, we get y dash equals 0 plus 1, which is 1. So we know that y dash is positive. So for any value smaller than 1, the y dash is positive. For any value bigger than 1, like x equals 2, we have to plug into y dash. So y dash equals negative 2 plus 1. This is negative 1. So the y dash is negative. So here the function is increasing, here the function is decreasing. And this tells us that here we have what we call a maximum point. Anyway, they're not really asking about maximum and minimum, they're just asking about increasing and decreasing. So we're going to choose choice B, since it increases from negative infinity to 1 and decreases from 1 to infinity. Now let's work on 32. So for 32, we have y equals x squared over 2 minus 4x plus 8. So y dash equals 2x over 2 minus 4, which is equal to x minus 4. So when is y dash equal to 0? This occurs when x equals 4. So we have three intervals: x equals 4, x less than 4, x greater than 4. And you want to figure out the sign of y dash before and after the turning point. Of course, at the turning point, y dash is 0. You already know that. We need to figure out the sign before and after. So for y dash equals to x minus 4, we take any random value of x. Let's say x equals 3 and x equals 5. One value before the 4 and one value after the 4. So here, sorry, I'll just write y dash first. So here y dash equals 3 minus 4. And this is negative 1. Here y dash equals 5 minus 4, and this is positive 1. So for 3, which is any value less than 4, we have a negative slope. So the function is decreasing. For 5, which is any value greater than 4, 5, 6, 7, any number would work, we would get a positive slope, which means that the function is increasing. So therefore, it is decreasing from negative infinity to 4 and increasing from 4 to infinity. So this is the correct choice. For 33, we have y equals 2x power 2 plus 16x plus 31. Y dash equals 4x plus 16. And this is equal to 0. So 4x equals negative 16. So x equals negative 4. So again, we have x less than negative 4, x equals negative 4, x greater than negative 4. We know that when x equals negative 4, the y dash is 0. You want to figure out what happens before the -4 and after the -4. So let's write down y dash. Y dash is 4x plus 16. Let's try x equals -5 and x equals -3. So here y dash becomes -20 plus 16. So this is -4. And here we get 4 times -3, so -12 plus 16 gives us +4. So therefore, at -5, we have a negative slope. This means that the function is decreasing. At -3, which is greater than -4, we have a positive slope, and the function is increasing. So it decreases before -4, which means from -infinity to 4, to -4, I mean. And it increases after -4, which means that from -4 to infinity, it is an increasing function. So therefore, the correct choice is choice B. Now for question 34, y equals -2x power 2 plus 8x minus 5. So y dash equals -4x plus 8, and this is equal to 0. Now we can take the 4x to the other side, so we get 8 equals 4x, so 2 equals x. So again, for our table, we are going to try a value less than 2 and another value greater than 2. At 2, we know that the slope is 0, like y dash is 0. And then we have to try something like 1, for example, and 3. So for -4x plus 8, if x equals 1, we get y dash equals -4 plus 8, which is positive. For x equals 3, we get y dash equals -12 plus 8, which is negative. So therefore, at 1, the slope is positive, so the function is increasing. At 3, the slope is negative, so the function is decreasing. So it increases from -infinity to 2 and decreases from 2 to infinity. Of course, this just means x greater than 2, and this just means x less than 2. Finally, for question 35, we are given y equals -2x power 2 plus 12x minus 14. So y dash equals -4x plus 12. And this is set to 0. So -4x equals -12. Divide by -4. So x equals 3. So we have x less than 3, x equals 3, x greater than 3. So let's plug values into -4x plus 12. Greater than 3, for example, could be 4. Less than 3 could be 2. So let's plug 2 and 4 into the equation. So here we get -8 plus 12, which is positive. Here we get -16 plus 12, which is negative. You don't really have to find the value. You just need to figure out, is it positive or negative? So for x equals 2, we got a positive slope. This means the function increases. For x equals 4, we got a negative slope, and this means that the function decreases. So less than 3 is the same as -infinity to 3. More than 3 means 3 to infinity. So it increases for -infinity to 3 and decreases for 3 to infinity. So the correct choice here is choice B. And this brings us to the end of our video. I hope this has been beneficial. Thank you for watching.